So what if I told you that your favorite Spotify playlist isn't just a reflection of your personal taste, but it could actually be committing an act of cosmic injustice?
I mean, that sounds completely absurd to the modern ear, right?
It really does.
Because we are entirely conditioned to believe that beauty is, strictly a biological quirk or just some cultural preference.
Yeah, exactly. We treat media like this all-you-can-eat buffet of subjective tastes. Like, you like heavy metal, I prefer lo-fi beats, you know?
Right, yeah.
You like abstract expressionism, I like classical realism. We just think it is whatever tickles our dopamine receptors on any given day. But today, we're diving into a paradigm that completely shatters that assumption.
It really does.
We are jumping into a deep dive on a worldview that argues there is an actual objective cosmic right and wrong to where a sound belongs.
And if you can imagine the visual backdrop behind us just sort of shifting right now to an atmospheric, dimly library filled with century-old classical texts, that is the headspace we need to be in for this.
For sure.
Because to understand this framework, we have to temporarily just discard the modern assumption of art for art's sake.
Right, that idea that creative expression just requires absolutely no moral or spiritual justification.
Exactly.
So our compass for this exploration is a really fascinating guiding statement published by Nakhoda Publications. It's titled Sound in Its Proper Place. And honestly, even before we get into the text, the visual branding of Nakhoda sets the stage perfectly.
It really does, yeah.
Their logo is this striking combination of a ship's steering wheel and a fountain pen, like merging right down the middle.
Yeah, the imagery there is very deliberate. It matches their motto perfectly, which is steering ideas, shaping futures. The pen is mightier than the sword.
I love that.
It's great.
Yeah.
A steering wheel implies that we are navigating this chaotic sea, which in this case is the modern sea of information and constant noise.
Right.
And the pen represents the power of written thought to actively guide human destiny through all that chaos rather than just, passively floating in it.
Passively floating, yeah. And the mind we are navigating today, the philosopher who anchors this entire text, is the recently passed Syed Muhammad Naqib Al-Attas.
Yes.
Living from 1931 all the way to 2026, he left behind this incredibly rich intellectual legacy that essentially bridges classical Islamic thought with the hypermodern world we live in today.
A massive legacy.
Huge. And our mission in this deep dive is to unpack his specific philosophy of Adab. We want to discover how it provides this radically different non-secular lens for understanding beauty, art, and what the text calls sound harmony.
And to even begin discussing sound in its proper place, we really have to completely redefine that central concept, adab.
Okay, let's unpack this, because if you are familiar with the term from just everyday conversation,
Right.
you might know it simply as etiquette or manners.
Right, like remembering to take your shoes off at the door or, saying please and thank you.
Exactly.
Which is a severe undertranslation. I mean, it really hollows out the philosophy.
Yeah.
In Al-Attas' thought, adab is given this massive metaphysical, epistemological, and ethical definition.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, he defines it as the discipline of the body, mind, and soul that recognizes and actualizes the proper place of all things within the ordered hierarchy of existence.
The ordered hierarchy of existence.
Yeah.
That requires us to basically accept that reality isn't flat. It isn't just a chaotic jumble of atoms bouncing into each other without any meaning.
Precisely. In the classical Islamic worldview, reality is structured in levels and degrees. Everything from an archangel all the way down to a grain of sand has a specific God-given station.
Right.
So adab is the profound recognition of where exactly everything belongs in that cosmic structure.
Think of reality like a massive world-class symphony orchestra. You have the string section, the woodwinds, the brass, the percussion.
Mm-hmm.
Adab isn't just about the violinists wearing the right tuxedos and nodding politely to the conductor. It's about the violins playing exactly when and where they are supposed to in the score.
That's a great way to put it.
It's about understanding the sheet music of the universe and playing your part flawlessly.
And expanding on that orchestra analogy really helps clarify the three interconnected pillars at the heart of his philosophy. You have wisdom, justice, and adab.
Oh.
So the first pillar is wisdom, or hikmah. Al-Attas defines wisdom as the God-given light that actually allows you to know and judge what the proper place of a thing is.
So wisdom is like the ability to read that master score. Like you have to know what the symphony is supposed to sound like before you can even pick up your instrument.
Exactly. Which brings us to the second pillar, which is justice, or adl. Now, we usually think of justice as, courtrooms, laws, punishments.
Right, legal justice.
Yeah, but metaphysically, justice is the actual condition of things being in their proper places.
Yep.
So when the woodwinds come in at the precise tempo to balance the strings, creating perfect harmony, that state of harmony is justice.
Wait, so if a tuba player suddenly decides they want to solo right in the middle of a really delicate piano sonata and they just start blaring out of turn, under this philosophy, they aren't just being avant-garde or expressing their personal truth. They are actually committing an act of musical injustice.
Yes, they are violating Adab because they are ruining the order of creation just for the sake of their own ego. And this culminates in the third pillar, Adab itself.
Mm-hmm.
Al-Attas describes Adab as the spectacle of justice as it is reflected by wisdom.
The spectacle of justice.
Yeah, the Arabic term used in the text is mashhad, which means a scene of witness. So by playing your instrument at the right time, you are actively creating and witnessing justice in the world.
Okay, so if adab is the justice of putting things in their proper place, how does this cosmic framework filter down into what you and I actually see and hear on our screens and through our headphones?
That's the big question.
Because this is where the Nakhoda document levels a really sharp critique at the modern auditory landscape.
It does. The text contrasts secular aesthetics with a Tawhid-based aesthetic.
Mm.
And Tawhid is the Islamic concept of the indivisible oneness of God. In a secular framework, beauty is totally autonomous. The form of the art, or the raw emotion it provokes, justifies itself. If a piece of music gives you a visceral thrill, boom, it's deemed successful.
Yeah, it did its job.
But for Al-Attas, true beauty is never autonomous. It is entirely dependent on how well it reflects divine order.
Meaning that when colors, shapes, and sounds are arranged to produce a pleasing, harmonious effect, that is showing adab toward art.
Exactly.
It's the exact same principle as showing adab toward nature by, keeping rivers clean and trees in their proper habitats, or even showing al-adab to your own living room by arranging the furniture so you aren't constantly tripping over the coffee table.
Right. Harmony is the goal.
Yeah.
But the document observes that we are living through a massive global loss of adab.
Oh, totally.
And because of this, sound is constantly torn from its proper station. I mean, just think about the media we consume daily. Sound is engineered specifically to agitate the senses.
It really is.
It is designed to hook your attention, spike your adrenaline, and serve the lower self, the base desires, rather than guiding your soul toward any kind of equilibrium.
But wait, let me push back on that for a second. Some of the most impactful art in human history is born from chaos and disruption.
Sure.
Doesn't raw emotion like anger, confusion, grief, doesn't that have a legitimate place in creative expression? If we just mandate that everything must be harmonious and settled, don't we risk making art incredibly boring and sterile?
That is a very common concern. But what's fascinating here is that Al-Attas argues cosmic order is never mute, mechanical, or sterile. Order is infused with meaning, or mana.
Okay.
Every rank and degree in reality is an ayah, a sign that points to the creator who ordered it. So art that reflects adab isn't about flat, boring pleasantries.
It's not just elevator music.
No, not at all. It can absolutely explore tension, grief, complexity, but it must resolve that tension into a deeper resonance that actually participates in the order of creation.
Oh, I see. It's the difference between, like, a cheap horror movie jump scare that just spikes your heart rate for no reason, and a profound tragedy that breaks your heart but ultimately leaves you with a greater understanding of the human condition.
Spot on. And the mechanism behind this is crucial. The document explicitly states that art shouldn't just excite the passions, it must refine them.
Refine them.
Yes, when you are exposed to media that simply agitates you, it fragments your psyche. Your attention is scattered.
Which we all feel these days.
Exactly. But when the human soul contemplates ordered meaning through the comportment of adab, the soul is shaped and integrated. It is elevated toward its true perfection, which in this tradition is called insan kamil, the complete or perfected human being.
That is a staggering standard to hold a piece of music or a short film to. I mean, the metric of success completely shifts from, did I enjoy that, to, did this piece of media bring my soul into greater conformity with the truth of reality?
It really gives art a profound moral and spiritual weight. It frames music, image, and word as noble means of elevation, right?
Yeah.
Like a form of inviting people to truth, rather than just disposable commodities for our entertainment.
So moving from this abstract philosophy into the actual recording studio, the Nakhoda Publications document provides a rigorously practical blueprint for modern creators.
Yes, they do.
And here's where it gets really interesting. They explicitly apply this framework to the modern Malay Islamic artistic tradition, including highly contemporary genres like Malay rap and hip-hop.
Which is amazing. Applying 12th century metaphysical concepts to modern hip-hop might seem totally jarring at first, but it perfectly illustrates just how universal the principle of adab really is.
Yeah.
The document breaks its rules for creators down into three main areas. You have lyrics and language, melody and rhythm, and visual storytelling.
Okay, let's look at the lyrics first. The rule here is that language must embody hikmah, wisdom, and guidance. It specifies using pure, living Malay anchored firmly in the Quran and the Sunnah, the traditions of the Prophet.
And this touches on the really critical relationship between the sound of the word, known as lafiyas, and the meaning of the word, the mana.
Lafiz and mana.
Right. In a state of adab, the sound must perfectly serve and clarify the meaning. It cannot distort, obscure, or overpower it.
But in mainstream hip-hop, that hierarchy is frequently inverted.
Oh, almost always.
The meaning of the lyrics is completely subordinate to the beat. Like, the producer wants the heavy 808 bass to rattle the trunk of your car, and the lyrics are often just rhythmic filler designed to ride that beat. The spectacle of the sound is the absolute priority.
And under Al-Attas's framework, that inversion is a loss of adab.
Right.
But that doesn't mean hip-hop is inherently flawed. For a Malay rap track to achieve true beauty in this paradigm, the intricate vocal flow and that heavy beat must be strictly disciplined by the wisdom of the lyrics.
Okay.
The rhyme and the rhythm become beautiful precisely because they are disciplined.
They act as the perfect vehicle for the message. So if the song is exploring themes of, say, social justice or the remembrance of God, the heavy bass line isn't there to make you lose your mind in a club.
No.
It is structured to emphasize the gravity of the lyrics. The sound is put in its proper place to serve the higher meaning.
Exactly. And this logically dictates the second rule regarding melody, rhythm, and structure. The document states that these musical elements must serve sakina.
Sakina. And that translates to tranquility, right? Or like a deep anchored sense of peace.
Yes, exactly. The music must encourage productive movement toward clarity. This is the exact opposite of music engineered for bass excitation or heedlessness.
Bass excitation.
Yeah, because that creates a hypnotic effect.
Yeah.
It dulls the higher cognitive functions, and it agitates the lower desires, putting the listener into a state where they just want to lose control or escape reality entirely.
Which is so much of what's on the radio. And this demand for tranquility fundamentally alters how we have to approach the screen itself, too. The third rule tackles visual storytelling, like music videos or short films. The document insists that visuals must unfold meaning with precision and restraint.
Restraint is so key here. The psychological mechanics of modern visual media really rely on cognitive overload.
Oh, absolutely.
Rapid-fire edits, blinding lights, just a constant barrage of sensory input used to keep the viewer hooked. But when your brain is forced to process a new flashing image every 2 seconds, it doesn't have the capacity to contemplate deeper meaning. You are forced into a state of total passivity.
You are being overwhelmed by mere spectacle. Restraint, on the other hand, is the visual application of adab. It requires the director to actually know what to leave out of the frame.
Yes.
By holding a shot longer or keeping the lighting natural and unforced, the viewer is given the cognitive space to actually encounter the sign, the ayah within the image.
Which perfectly encapsulates the stunning visual metaphor provided in the source text. To show us what this harmony of form, sound, and meaning actually looks like in practice, the document points to Islamic calligraphy, specifically the highly complex Thuluth script.
It is so breathtaking to look at. Thuluth is known for its elegant, curving, intercepting letters.
Beautiful.
But under this philosophy, you aren't just looking at pretty lines on a tiled wall. You are looking at a multidimensional harmony, like the ultimate living embodiment of adab.
Think about the layers operating simultaneously in a piece of Thuluth calligraphy. First, you have the visual form. Every curve, every proportion, every placement of a diamond-shaped dot is mathematically precise.
Right.
The visual restraint is absolute, there is nothing lacking, and there is nothing excessive.
Then you have the implied sound. When you look at the flowing ink, the script captures the rhythm and the elongation of the vowels. You can almost hear the breath of the reciter just by observing the shapes.
And finally, resting at the very center of this visual and auditory perfection is the sacred meaning of the text itself.
The mana.
Yes. The sound, the visual, and the meaning are all resting in their rightful stations, serving each other without conflict. It is a literal manifestation of justice.
Applying the rigor and the mathematical precision of classical calligraphy to, like, a modern music video or a film production is an incredible challenge.
Oh, a massive challenge.
But that is exactly what Al-Attas was calling for, because his ultimate diagnosis of the modern world was remarkably heavy. He didn't just view bad art as a mild cultural annoyance.
No, he traced the disintegration of societies, the widespread confusion of knowledge, and the chaotic state of our aesthetic lives back to one single root cause.
The fundamental loss of knowing the proper place of things.
Yes, we have lost our Adab.
And recovering it isn't just some academic exercise for philosophers. Whether a creator is writing a piece of calligraphy, directing a cinematic short film, or producing a hip-hop track, restoring that specific order is the mechanism for restoring beauty, guidance, and ultimately justice to the world.
This reframes the entire concept of media consumption. I mean, it moves us completely away from that buffet of subjective preference we talked about earlier.
Right.
It is no longer a question of what sounds catchy, what goes viral, or, what shocks the audience the most.
It is about the cosmic, objective justice of putting melodies, lyrics, and visuals in their exact proper place. The goal is to curate a harmony that actively elevates the human soul toward perfection, rather than fragmenting it with noise and spectacle.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the implications of this require a tremendous amount of self-awareness from all of us.
Definitely.
It challenges us to look critically at the invisible environment we build for ourselves every single day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the next time you put on a playlist while you commute to work, or you scroll through an endless feed of short-form videos, or you just sit down to watch a highly anticipated film, pause and ask yourself a different set of questions.
Is this sound in its proper place? Is the media you are consuming right now actually bringing you clarity? Is it cultivating sakina, that deep anchored tranquility in your soul?
Or is it simply agitating your mind with empty spectacle, forcing you into cognitive overload?
Consider what it would actually look like and what it would feel like if you audited your own auditory and visual world with true adab.
That's such a powerful thought.
If you ruthlessly cut out the agitating noise and only let in media that reflected cosmic justice, how would that change the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you act in the world?
It would probably change everything. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep seeking wisdom, pay attention to the order of things, and always look for the deeper meaning behind the noise.